Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil. And in this video, I want to give you guys my advice for how to farm relics, what's the most efficient pieces to use, what are things to avoid, and where you can find these pieces. Before I get into the video, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. It is free. It just helps me get out there more, get this video more views, and then leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what your thoughts are. So I'll start here. I'm actually going to go all the way to the end. And we're going to kind of work our way towards the pieces in the front. With these Grita keypads, impulse detectors, and even Zimbalist cards here, there's no real good way to farm these, right? It's just, it sucks. The salvage rates aren't fun. You can get these impulse detectors via conquest with some of your leftover currency, which actually I've done quite a few times, and it's been pretty helpful. It's like a 5 thing for some leftover currency every few conquests. I'm not going to say that it's ideal, but it's better than nothing. These, you just kind of, got to bite the bullet. Same thing with, Zimbalist cards, that you just kind of have to do them, right? There's no good way to farm these. Like, there's not one piece that's better than the others. Electrium Conductors, these are another piece like that where there's not one of these that's, say, better than the rest. I would just look at what your gear needs are and then use those. If you want to use the salvage, you can. I don't know. With these pieces over here, sometimes there can be some those purple pieces inside that are good to maybe use the salvage before you use a full piece. But otherwise, guys, there's not really any good way to do this, right? There's not like, oh, this is the best thing to do here, right? You look like, if I use this, I get 5, which is, 30. So if I clear that and do 30, it's going to give me the same answer. So again, no real benefit to doing one or the other here. So Heatsink. So this is the first piece where I will say that there is a concrete strategy that you have to follow, right? And I'm going to show you guys that right here. So you see this piece right here, these Mark III hollow projectors, where it's, they're worth 500 for a fully crafted piece. And then you come down here and the salvage is only worth 10, right? So 20 of these pieces gives me a full salvage piece, right? So I just did 20 of them, and it's going to give me 4 heat sinks. However, if I were to come in here, and I'm going to go in and go to my armor, because I know she needs one of these, and I'm going to craft it here. And then I'm going to come into my store. And then what happens here, right? So now I just get with 50 of these, right? I just got 10 of those with 20, right? So with this piece here, always, always, always craft it before you, use these to build these Oroidium heat sinks, right? Craft a full piece and then trade it in, and you're going to get a much better salvage rate, and you're going to save yourself a lot of resources and a lot of time. If you don't have any of those, you can buy them for 300 crystals a piece. So 600 gets you a full Oroidium heat sink. And for perspective, right, just to show you guys the math here. So if I come in here to the store and I look for those pieces. So here, Oroidium heat sinks, 20 of them cost me 2,000 crystals. Comparatively, I can buy a Mark III hollow projector for 300 crystals, right? So 600 crystals gets me a full one versus 2,000. So always, always, always craft those. Then if you come here to the chromium transistor pieces, so these are ones where the best thing is, I forget if it's this Mark 8 or Mark 10 piece, but one of them will get you can get in the guild store for about 100 guild currency. And it'll translate to roughly 33 pieces, right? Like if I do this just to show you, it's 5 of them. So like 33, 32 pieces for 100 guild currency. That's one of the best salvage rates in the game. It's really, really cost effective. So it's something I do a lot. Otherwise, you can use some of these pieces. It's not right, wrong, or indifferent, but I do just try to use these full pieces when I can to keep this, my stock in hand as high as possible. Now, Bronzium wirings, these are ones where if you can, and you can get these pieces. So this piece right here, I use this a lot because I can get it on this cryotech node here, right? So I get cryotechs, and I get this. So I'm kind of killing two birds with one stone, where I'm building cryotech inventory and I'm building my, gear needed for Bronzium wirings. This section is the first time where I will only scrap these pieces for salvage, right, to build these, when I'm at 150 or more stock in hand. Like you guys will see here, I'm not going to use any of those. So when this hits 150, I will salvage 50 of them. Same thing with these pieces down in here. You can actually get some of these in the arena store. You can buy them for like 10 for 150 currency. It's not a lot, but it's, it supplements you. It's enough to eventually make you, hit you over that 150 and get you more of these Bronzium wirings. One of the biggest things I'll say with relic pieces, particularly this one, is that it just comes down to getting them passively and then turning them into, your pieces. Otherwise, you do have these down here. I don't really have a set limit of what I will go above and below, but I wouldn't just drain all of these, right? Like I wouldn't just, do this until I'm at, whatever. Like I could turn in a lot of these, right? But you're not getting nearly as much through these as you are these pieces up here. So it's better to look for these, farm them, and then transition them into here. So just kind of keep that in mind, right? That these are nice if you need to supplement, right? If you're like in the middle of a farm and you're close, this is good to use. But otherwise, I would try to use these and these pieces up here when possible. For carbonite circuit boards, so these pieces, again, you'll see the 150 rule in here where I've got 148, 147, 142. You can also get some of these pieces in the Squad Arena store for 150. Again, it's a good use of your currency, right? I'm not going to say that it's the best use, but I found that I can get, enough pieces to get, a few salvage a week. And again, if you're just building that over time, it's nice, additional income into the relic materials. Otherwise, the best thing to do here, come into light side 1D and farm this node, because you can get 3 of these fusion furnaces, and you need, you get 3 of those at a time. You get this piece, this, and this, which all will translate into carbonite circuit boards. So you can easily get 50 salvage pieces here, which gets you 8 or 9 of those carbonite circuit board pieces, right? So just, you're going to get 8 or 9 of those. So that's not a bad investment, right? That you just do a couple of refreshes there, get those pieces, and then move on down the road. So that's the video, guys. Just being smart with our relics, making sure that you're making the right choices and that you're not, overextending yourself in gear, particularly, I would say, on these iridium heat sinks and chromium transistor pieces. Make sure that we're being efficient. And then one thing I will note is that you'll see that I have some of these pieces have this little lock button. That means that I will never, ever use any of these to build that piece. That it's not worth me using stun guns to build an iridium heat sink when this piece is available. I don't even think I've used those or this piece here or these here. Even though I could, I just don't see the point when these are so when the Mark III hollow projectors are just so economical to use. Otherwise, guys, that's the end of the video. If you haven't already, again, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.